Slower here, drop the box blade, pull some extra material up the hill. Yeah, there was a video I made a couple years ago with my Land Cruiser, and I came up this hill, and it was so nice and stuff. Went up it a little ways, and then slid all the way back down, and I had both the front and rear axle differentials fully locked, so it's definitely a bit slippery. So usually I don't do a whole lot of talking with these videos, but is he focusing on what I'm doing? But this tractor here is a Mahindra Mpower 85E, which is the cab version. Just the regular 85 is the non-cab. It's been an excellent tractor. These particular ones are made by Mahindra, and they're made in India, but they're exceptionally heavy and heavily built for, for the horsepower rating of them. So it's an 85 horsepower tractor. And with this box blade on the back and the tires filled, I'm over 12,000 pounds. With my root grapple, I've got a big, I guess a 84 inch or 78 inch, I think it is, HLA root grapple, which is about 1,100 pounds. And with that on the machine, I went over the scales, and with me sitting in the machine, I was, I think, 13,200 or 300 pounds. So yeah, so it's a pretty heavy machine. I mean, I'm 265, 70 pounds, but not light. So it's basically 13,000 pounds, depending on how you got it set up. And I don't think when I weighed it that time, I'm 99% certain I didn't have the box plate on the back, which is another 600 or 700 pounds. So as this thing sits right now, it's right around the 13,300 pound range, 13,400 with me in it. So it's a heavy machine, and the loader capacity on it is 4,100 pounds capacity at a full lift height, which is like 12 feet, or it's like 130 inches or something. So it's crazy. Like it'll lift way more than that up off the ground, like no problems lifting like 5,000 or 6,000 pounds, a foot or more off the ground. I don't even know what it would max out at. I mean, I picked up a Ford Focus station wagon that was just full of crap and garbage, and that was, with that grapple on, which is, another 600 or 700 pounds heavier than the factory bucket. I had no problems lifting it, and I bet you that car was probably closer to 4,500 pounds or heavier. So it's a really, really strong, powerful tractor. It's been really good. Like, I drive around on the roads all the time, in the winter doing snow clearing. It's been really good. I mean, I'm not a die-hard, brand fan of anything, right? I don't really care, as long as it's a good quality machine and it doesn't break down and it makes me money. That's all I really care about. So I've got Kubotas, I've got 2 Mahindras. The Kubota dealership, the salesman always makes fun of me about having the Mahindras, but you know what? It's been a good machine. It's never broken down really. I had one little issue with it, with the recall on the water pump, but other than that, I mean, it's been rock solid. And it's pretty fuel efficient actually. There's no DEF fluid or DPF filters or anything like that on here, which is really good. And overall, it's just been a really good tractor. My other tractor is a 36 horsepower. It's a 3616, but it's built by Mitsubishi, and that thing is really a nice tractor. Like, it's been really good, and it's got tons of power, really good, you know, hydrostatic transmission in it. But overall, I quite like these Mahindra tractors. I've never had an issue with them, so I think people hate on them because they're something different, but it's no different than what Kubota was, you know, 30 years ago. Everybody looked at them and thought they were junk, but they're not. I got a pretty small box blade on here. I've got the one for my little tractor. I got a bigger box blade for this. I just don't have it on here right now. So it doesn't match the tractor, that's for sure. I gotta go pick up a 96-inch blade for this one, and this one that's on here is going back on the little one, because we're supposed to get lots of snow this year. That's what they say come January. And, well, I mean, where we are here in British Columbia, the snow on the coast at sea level, I mean, doesn't happen very often, but we do get snow, and when we do, we can get a lot of it. So, you know, sometimes we'll get 4 feet over, you know, a 48-hour period. And usually what happens is it doesn't stop snowing for, you know, 2 or 3 days, right? And you just get a ton of snow all at once, and it's wet, heavy snow. It's not light, fluffy stuff, so it you know, isn't easy to deal with when it comes to picking it up and moving it. We need, you know, pretty substantial equipment to do that. So, you know, great big huge parking lots and stuff like that. You know, the bigger commercial guys are running like, you know, 966 loaders, and, you know, really quite sizable machines in order to pick that wet, heavy snow and stack it up out of the way. This thing does pretty darn good though too for, you know, your average size, you know, small 10 or 12 store parking lots and apartment complexes and stuff. It's pretty maneuverable. You can get in and out of parking spots, and the box blade will, you know, get right up close to doorways, or, you know, right into the parking stalls, and right up to the curb at the end there. So it's you know, it's a big machine, but it's pretty versatile actually. And I don't know what a lot of other machines are like as far as their four-wheel drive setup is concerned, but this one, besides having, you know, your standard locking diff like you would in just about any tractor, it's also got the limited slip front differential in it. I was looking up in the actual service manual, and the front axle is made by Dana, so it's you know, North American spec or whatever. I don't know if it's built here or not, or they build it overseas or wherever, but it actually has a proper, I think, Torsen style limited slip, so there's no clutch packs, if I remember correctly. It's all helical gears and stuff, and this thing just climbs up anyway. Like, even when you're, you know, stuffing the loader into the pile of dirt there, you're spinning all 4 tires. Well, you're spinning all 3 tires and both front tires, unless you're locking the rear diff. So it's quite an impressive machine. I've been very happy with it. We're just doing a little more box blade here, pulling that dirt that I've been spreading out there. We got a, oh gosh, probably, I don't know, a couple kilometers of road here to fix up. We got logging trucks coming in and out. I don't know how many, 200 loads. Well, maybe not, no, probably not 200 loads, probably 40 to 60 loads of logs coming out of here, I believe. So we've been up here working, building roads and getting things prepped while the bunchers are working and knocking trees down. So yeah, lots of fun. Get a stiff neck constantly looking back over your shoulder with this thing, especially in the wintertime doing snow clearing, because you're always running backwards and forwards and pulling material with the box blade. but it's fun. Not so fun after 25 hours or more of it. About that far into it, you're pretty much done. And I don't let anybody else run my machine, so it kind of sucks. Well, my other one I do, but this thing, it's not hard to run, but it's definitely, I don't know, probably, I don't know, I'm trying to think of how to compare it, equipment-wise to something else. It's a lot harder to run than something with a hydrostatic transmission. There's a lot more going on, and your clutches and stuff. It's not worth having some numbskull, burn out a clutch on this, because then you got to split the whole tractor. And I don't even want to think about how much that would cost if I had to pay somebody to do it. It's not overly difficult if you've got the shop and the equipment to do that, but you're still probably looking at a $3,000 job in parts. So I don't really feel like letting somebody else do that. It doesn't take much to do a whole lot of damage and make it so that you just lost a whole bunch of money. I hit a 2-foot drain grate the last year with this thing in a parking lot. I've been plowing for a couple of years now, so it caught me off guard. I was just a little bit offside my normal track, so I was pushing the snow, and it was just enough that bucket dropped down a little dip, like for the recessed part of the drain grate, and it stopped me cold. I was in medium range and third gear, and I was moving. So I don't know speed-wise exactly what I was doing, but I was doing at least, oh gosh, probably 12 to 15 kilometers an hour. That hurt. Broke my pinky finger and huge bruise on my face. Sure woke me up anyways. So yeah, it kind of sucks not having a trip edge on a bucket. But you can't really stack snow and move it out of the way like I need to anyways with some of the places that I clear snow at. Oh, I think my camera's moving here. Maybe we're back down there. Yeah, I kind of like this. It's a nice change. I'm usually in my excavator. It's a little more, less monotonous, I guess. So, normally I got the music cranked. Sitting here enjoying myself. A little bit faster paced work than sitting in an excavator and doing the stuff that we're normally doing. But yeah, I always enjoy getting in this thing. It's definitely fun, and it's very fun to drive around town in this thing and get all the weird looks, because where we live, there's not that many big farms. You don't see big 200 horsepower row crop tractors and stuff like that running around like you do on the prairies. So I'm kind of the odd duck here with this thing. Lots of case 580s, regular backhoes and whatnot, but there's not another guy around that has one of these large tractors that does what I do with it. Just basically, it's the guys that are running side mount boom mowers and stuff that are doing ditch bank mowing and whatnot. That is it. And then you got the city guys, right, that run around and do the big fields and whatnot. But I am definitely an odd duck when it comes to running around in town in this thing. But I like it. I don't care what anybody says or what anybody thinks, so it's fun. Yeah, this tractor, I guess, when you look at other tractors and stuff, it might not be that luxurious, but it's still, nicely equipped. Air ride seat, air conditioning, I've got all my controls right handy on my right hand side here, but it's a simple tractor. There's not a lot of electronics, right? So everything's manual, your PTO engagement, it's just like a no frills, simple workhorse tractor that should be reliable for years to come. We got guys on their mountain bikes coming through here because we're working in an area that has a whole bunch of mountain biking trails. So I don't think they're too happy about us cutting up breaking up their trails and cutting down trees and stuff. But it is what it is. This is a wood lot, so got so many cubic meters of timber that has to come down every year because it's a managed wood lot. If the wood lot holder doesn't do that and fulfill his commitments, then he runs the risk of losing his wood lot. And the guy that owns this has had this wood lot in his family for, I think, 1 or 2 generations at least. So you don't get wood lots here in BC anymore. Not on the coast, anyways. They're either passed down to you or you don't get them. That's pretty much it. So when you got them, you gotta, make sure you do what you need to do to keep them and be in good standing. Well, this upper block here, we're pulling like 5,500 cubic meters of timber out of it, and then we got a lower, or no, I can't remember how much is up here. It's 5,500 altogether, but there's quite a bit of wood coming out of here. There was a big windstorm a number of years ago that knocked down a whole bunch of trees and stuff. Some other wood lots. Guys ended pulling out, 20 years worth of timber because they were all, it was all blow down, right? So, but this area never had that. A little more over here. We already had one log truck come through here, so it won't be long before he's loaded up. The self-loader usually takes, well, depending on if he's got to move between trailers or whatever, but I don't know, probably 45 minutes to an hour to get loaded up. I got a bit of material up here now, which is good. One thing I wish I did have was hydraulic controls for my 3-point hitch, so my top link and my side link. I might end up doing that one day, and then you just run it in through your remotes. So I've got 2 sets of remotes on here. And if I wanted to, I could upgrade to a third, but it's not worth it. I mean, for what I'm doing, if I really needed that third set of remotes, I'd just run a diverter valve. But having, an adjust like a hydraulically controlled top link on this to adjust the box blade and stuff, or whatever implement you got on the back on the fly, would be really handy. But more so would be the side link for grading and crowning roads and stuff. Box blade is really handy for that kind of stuff. They're not hard to use, but they're not that easy to use really well, I guess would be the right way to put it. It takes a bit of practice and time and experience to basically learn how to move the dirt and run the blade properly and make adjustments as you need them. But once you get it, it's pretty hard to beat. I mean, it's way better than a rear plow, anyways. There we go. We have like 3 ravens hanging around, following me all day long. One's sitting in the tree right behind me to my left. I'll back up, we'll probably see it. I don't know why, they just sit there and they watch me. Where are you, Mr. Raven? hanging out. I think it's up. There he goes. He was down the bottom of the road. I don't know why. Anytime I'm out working in the woods, there's always a raven or there's a crow. They're pretty curious animals. Very, very smart. Probably one of the smartest birds out there. Definitely, probably the smartest animal in the woods around here anyways. I can't think of another animal that's even close to as intelligent. They're really quite incredible. I remember one time I was feeding whiskey jacks, which they're super tame, right? It doesn't take anything for them to come and eat out of your hand, right? Well, the whiskey jacks would come and, you know, grab a piece of meat or cheese or whatever you're eating, and then the crows would come, you know, take it from the whiskey jacks, right? While the ravens would be flying around, circling, and watching everything go down, and they'd watch and see where the crows would take the food and stash it, because the crows would, you know, just come grab everything the whiskey jack had, and then go stash it somewhere, and the raven would just, you know, sit back and watch. And when the crow went back to get, you know, whatever food whiskey jack had, the raven would go and raid the crow's stash. That was quite funny. They're pretty smart animals. Back in the first. Been at this here for a while now. I have no idea how well the audio is picked up. It's quite noisy in this thing. It's not really that quiet of a machine. Ideally, you should be wearing hearing protection while running it, but I'm already half deaf, so. Lots of big potholes, but you can't really cut these ones out. The ground is just too hard. Couple more buckets on this side here. Try and do some more equipment videos here, but it's kind of tough to do, you know, a lot of the job sites that I'm working on, because so many different things going on. I've got to supervise my guys, keep on top of everything. I got customers usually around, so kind of makes it, you know, a little bit difficult to do this. But jobs like this where I'm on my own and I don't have anybody bugging me, it's a little easier to do. Well, go down and get another couple of scoops. Definitely not smooth enough. One thing about running up and down this road, this machine, you feel the potholes, so you know where you need to work. But I definitely enjoy this thing. Pretty much, this is all I do with it. Snow clearing and some mowing, like heavy duty mowing, like brush hogging and stuff. That's about it. Don't really use it that much. Oh, there they are again, sitting on my pile of dirt. What's that other ones? I don't know. They're always about hanging around. Yeah, probably want to get out of there. They're just wondering what the heck I'm doing. whole bunch of them in there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ravens. Yeah, oh yeah, no, there's 6. At least 6 that I just counted there. All hanging in there watching. Yeah, I gotta do a bit of work on the loader, well the bucket anyways. When I hit that drain grate, I ended up stuffing the corner of the bucket a little bit, so sooner or later here I gotta take some time and fix that, but it's probably gonna be one of those things I need to buy a new bucket eventually. It's a little bit off the side, like cockeyed, but not the end of the world. It still works for what I'm doing. There's enough, you know, side to side play and up and down play with all the pins and bushings that the bucket sort of levels out anyways. I don't use it for, you know, cutting in and, you know, establishing grade or anything. And if I'm back dragging and stuff, it doesn't bother it. The other thing is, this thing does not have a power shuttle, but it's fully synchronized. So you do have to put the clutch in to go between forward and reverse. And it's obviously, you know, got four ranges, or no, 3 ranges and four gears. So there's no, you know, crawler options. It's a 12 by 12, not like a 32 by 32 or anything crazy like that, but it's still, you know, creeps along pretty darn good in low range at first. And top speed, I don't know, about 26 miles an hour, something like that. Holy moly, there's got to be 15 Ravens out here. That's surprising. There's a whole bunch more up here. They're all into the trees there. They got some pretty good plumage going on right now. Like it's maybe a sign things are going to get cold. Here the animals kind of give you little hints like that, even though the weather might not. They tend to have, you know, their winter, like deer and stuff, they'll molt early, or they, you know, start growing their winter coats really early. They come in real thick, and you know, they must sense something in the weather patterns to trigger that, because it's different year to year, and there is a correlation with the overall weather in the winter. Sometimes you think it's going to be really cold and snowy based on what you're seeing, but instead it's really, really wet and stormy. And then the other thing, of course, is the bears. Black bears are a real telltale as far as winter weather and stuff is concerned, or whether or not they've had a hard winter the previous year, because they, I think, are one of the only animals that can actually terminate a pregnancy. When they're, you know, denned up, they went into, you know, the winter and had a really hard summer. and are stressed, then they will usually come out with, you know, 1 cup the next year instead of 2 or 3. Back down the hill, do a little bit of work down below, and then come back up here, spread that out. Hopefully before the logging truck is loaded on his way out. Yeah, depending on the winter this year, I mean, if we get lots of snow, I might end up picking up another machine for snow clearing. It's hard to say. It's one of those things you don't want to stick your neck out and spend money to do, because the probability of it paying off is not really that high. Not here anyways. But when we do get lots of snow, it does pay well, because you don't get it that often. Like, not to the point where, you know, you're plowing for 400 or 500 hours in the season. You get 300 to 400 hours in a year, you're doing pretty good. Now we'll sprinkle a little bit here. I'll throw out my box blade and then we'll catch that as I'm sprinkling it out. I can feel the tractor climbing up a bit. Laid it down fairly thick. And the one thing with running a box blade is don't go fast. You might think you're, you know, working faster and more productively by going fast with it, but it's not how it works. Slow and steady wins the race. Also allows that box blade in the box area to fill up properly. And then once you do, I mean, if you need to go faster, you're doing it because you want more stuff to spill out. If you're trying to move material or grade it, cut it down, you need to go slow. But this blade's too small for this machine, so I gotta be careful anyways. I don't want to go bouncing along here and catching a little rock sticking up and breaking anything. Spend a little bit of time up here just thinking about that log truck moving here long enough that it's going to be getting close to loading up, taking off. Pull some of this material back with my blade just a little bit before I start dragging it with the box blade. over to the right here, drop it down. You want to get it to the point, well, you had a box blade that was sized and machined properly. It's going to be a little wider than the machine so that you can run material out and you know, work your edges out and stuff. But this thing's only 72 inches and the machine is 83 or 82 or whatever the heck it is wide. So it's not ideal, but you can do it. Careful and slow and take your time. Lots of potholes up here to fix next. Some rubble still trapped in it. I'll run it out here and drop it in the holes, hopefully. So, anyways, I don't think I'm gonna back down that hill. Definitely need a bunch of material up here. Pull it down there and smooth things out because this was really rough before. Definitely a lot better now. I gotta put some grease in the steering column on this. Probably like nylon bushings or something in there. It's awfully squeaky. It's kind of annoying. Too bad there. The box blade right now. I'm doing a little quicker just to spread some stuff as I'm coming up here. In there, still hanging around, watching. Definitely like it. We're gonna watch what's going on. right. Let's see where we're at here. The other thing I'll do once I get enough material up here and I'm happy with things, I'll run the box blade and drag it downhill. You don't want to take so much material off that the edges of the potholes are exposed though, otherwise they'll blow out real quick. keep an eye on your grade and the slope of the road and stuff like that. You know, to give you an idea as far as which direction you want to pull material, where you need to pile some material to spread out. Just looking at it, coming back down, I think I'm going to put some up there and then pull some down on the right side and head down.